No hugs. My name's Bob. Yeah, that's right. 1-0. And I am an alcoholic. You get this cough drop out of my mouth. You know, Mark and I had quite a bit in common. I liked Jack Daniels. Was that the black label? Green label, orange. It made no damn difference. You know, any of that stuff was good. Got on a plane one time and there was a priest sitting there and another fellow sat down by him and the stewardess said, "Would you like a drink?" And this guy said, "Oh yeah, I would." And she asked the priest and he said, "I'd rather commit adultery than to drink." And the guy said, "Hell, I didn't know we had a choice." But anyway, like I say, I am an alcoholic. Anyone that has handcuffs on tonight, if you refrain from shaking the chains, I'd appreciate it. That's the way we used to drink. You know, I started out at a very young age. They had home brew, and I would drink it green or whatever color, you know. I used to be the one who would siphon it out of the crock into the bottles, and I'd forget to put it in the bottles. But green homebrew would make you really sick. And it'd make you where you didn't want to drink again for an hour or two, you know. I'd like to tell you that there's life after booze, because that's true, there is. I fought that a long time, and the thing about it, I destroyed a lot of love and good home life, whatever, because of booze. It was too good to turn down. And I'll tell you, I went bowling one night, and on the way home we had quite a few beer frames. As the luckiest bunch I ever saw. Anyway, we stopped at the Cloud 9, and they got there before I did, and when we went in, here was a gal that was probably 300 pounds, big, and man, I mean really big, and I looked up at her, and she grabbed me around the waist and gave me a big kiss, and her lips went clear around my face. And I was madder than hell. And boy, I was really mad. And about 30 minutes later, I was looking for that sweet little thing. But you know, that's what booze does. And she left early that night. It's a good thing.
Oh, God.
I took a pair of pants to the cleaners one night. I told my wife, I'll be back in a little bit. I'm going to take these to the cleaners. And I went to the cleaners and said, I want these pants cleaned. And they said, you can have them Tuesday. And I said, I'll wait. And I went next door, you know, there was a snug harbor. And I went in there and thought I'd wait. And but what I didn't know was some of that booze is tough, and I ended up at Vet's Hospital, and I had tubes sticking. You wouldn't believe where they stuck them. But anyway, after 15 days, they figured I wasn't pregnant anymore. The liver, you know, went down, and I met a fella named Jim James. And It's a damn good thing I did. You talk about someone tough. You may have a sponsor. You ought to listen to him, because Jim told me one time, every time I'd talk, he'd say, "Boy, you gave a good talk. I sure hope to hell you heard it." And that would make me so mad I could, fly backwards. But he was correct on that. I'm the guy who needs to know what I used to be. And I'm no longer that, I'm reliable. I've run out of words on that, but anyway, there are a lot of things that I'm not now that I was. I met a lot of good people at Jim's, and they helped me right along the way. And it wasn't easy. There were a lot of times we would sit at night out under the trees and try to talk about the big book or whatever. And Jim would sneak up behind us and say, "Show me where it says that in the big book." And then we'd have to read, and read and read and read. He told me, did I ever read the sex story in the AA book? And hell, I wore that book out trying to find that, and I never did. But he knew more about people, about drunks, than anyone I ever saw. He sure knew me. He told me that if I just would work a little bit on trying to be a better person every day. He said the 10th or the 11th step there, he said the first 7 words, he said that's all you need. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve. He said that'll be the easiest thing you've ever done, try to improve. And that took me a long while. When you help someone else, you've got a chance in this program. And you may not know when you're helping someone else. One night, I was telling my friend back there, one night I took a fellow outside and to the sidewalk and told him he couldn't come in because he was drunk. He was drinking before he came to the meeting. And it made him mad. I told him to go down on Douglas and do his thing, And 10 years later he came back. And he had a long coat on, a black coat, and had his hand in his pocket. And he looked over at me and never smiled. And he started my way, and I thought, well, payday, He came over and he stuck his hand out and he shook hands with me and he said, if you hadn't kicked me out 10 years ago, I wouldn't have 10 years sobriety. So you never know when it's going to work. It's the best program that anyone ever came up with. I see now they've got one that it's a book that they're trying to sell, This is the one that'll help you over the hump, and it'll help them quite a bit. 20 bucks or something. I've never worn out my big book. I've given it several times and they give it back. And I give it again. And it works. Someone told me one time, well, what it was, I wrote a little deal. I write quite a bit, and I wrote the thought for the day is, on the pathway to success, you will find much happiness if you will help someone else along the way. And that's so true. When you can get out of your own way and help somebody else, you're doing yourself a big favor. One time we had a guy, he and his wife were in the program, and I know why he drank. His wife drove him nuts. And he was there so many nights, and he would go out and drink and come back. And finally, he told me, he said, I can't make it. So 3 years later, he had gone, I think, 8 months or 9 months, and he asked me, would you write something for me? And I did, and he would recite it at every meeting that he went to. And it's very simple. It's called, hell, I don't even know what it's called. But happiness is a state of mind. So to like yourself, you have to love mankind. That won't be easy, that much we know. But working with others will help you to grow. And grow you must if you want to survive. For growing each day is what keeps us alive. Don't sweat so much. Cut yourself some slack. You've been to the bottom, now you're on the way back. You know, he said that every night when you go to a meeting. And it really helped me a lot. So anyway, thanks so much for being here, because you people have saved my life. And I really haven't done anything for you yet, you know. But I will. I'll quit. So, okay.